I got billed from the fire department. It was $400 per half hour per attending vehicle. So they had 2 fire trucks there. So I had this $800 bill, which the insurance company paid for. I told my insurance agent about it. She says, "Oh no, we'll pay for it. Send it to us." Okay. So that wasn't an issue, thankfully. But now, here I am, and of course, I got the cop gave me a ride home, so pulls up in front of the house, and I get out of the car. It was kind of embarrassing. At least I was in the front seat. So it's kind of look around. It's like, any neighbors watching? Great. But like I say, that kind of set me up for the next phase of my life, next chapter, I guess. So it's the next day now. I watched the video from yesterday, and there was a lot of wind noise. It's not as breezy today, but I've got tape over the microphone. If you remember this camera, when I plug in an external microphone, it doesn't cancel. It doesn't cancel the internal microphone, the built-in microphones. They still record. I think that's where the wind noise is coming from. So I got tape over it today. Shouldn't be a problem. And it's Sunday today. I was thinking maybe the traffic's not going to be as bad, but sitting here setting up, there's a lot of traffic going by. Even some campers. But there won't be any transport trucks. No cranes. Just noisy cars, motorcycles, side by side. Occasional lawn tractor, maybe, I don't know. I'm never gonna get total silence out here. There's actually more traffic for Sunday than I expected. Either way, it's the next day now. So here I am. I got no car. I have a crap ton of pictures and videos, and trying to decide what to do with them. And at some point, I discovered YouTube. I hadn't considered doing anything with it as far as my content, but it was entertaining watching everybody else. When YouTube started, their motto was broadcast yourself, and we have people just throwing whatever up. Back then there wasn't a lot of rules, right? You post yourself being an idiot, or your friends being idiots. I had kids uploading videos. A cell phone era hadn't really taken off, so it was mostly like webcams, the ones that are built into your laptops, and they're low quality and that, but they're still entertaining. So I put a few up. The first year that the boys did the tobogganing, I made a DVD of the events for their friends that were with us at the time, and I kind of put it up. The problem is when you first start on YouTube, you're limited to 10 minutes at a time, so I had to break it up into parts. I had that on there. It was a sawdust silo fire in Hanover. I put that up. That's still on my channel, by the way. Yeah, I can't remember. Just various stuff, meaningless stuff like everybody else. It was all meaningless. It's just a way of, look what I got, right? And I never really took it serious at the time. But I was working on a website. I enjoyed doing what I was doing so much, and because it was tapering off, I wanted to do it professionally, and especially the bike race. The bike race was really, that was a surprise to me. Yeah, it was just a spontaneous thing. You know what? I'm gonna go do this, right? Didn't ask for permission or anything. I just showed up the day of the race, and I surprised myself. So I had all these plans of what I wanted to do, and all of a sudden I don't have a car anymore. So that kind of killed the professional part of it. I can't really do anything unless it's right in Hanover, right? I can't travel to other places. So that kind of killed my dream there. And I tried a website several times, and every time I did it got hacked. Before I was even finished, it would get hacked, and somebody would take advantage of it and use it to start sending out email to everybody, right? And the first time that happened, all of a sudden my phone went nuts. I started getting all these undeliverable messages, like hundreds of them, just constant. And I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. Then I realized they were coming from my website. So I immediately shut that down. And I just gave up. I'm not good with the security part of the website. I really don't know much of it. Like, I'm self-taught. Everything I've learned, I've taught myself. But as far as the security goes, it's beyond me. So I gave up on that again. And the biggest part was, what do I do now for transportation? I don't have a car anymore. I can't go anywhere out of town. And walking, because of my illness, walking's getting difficult. So what do I do? So when I got the money from the insurance company, I paid off what I owed on my credit card, and I bought a bicycle. At least I'd have a way of getting around. And that made shopping difficult, because I was limited to whatever I could fit in a backpack. So that's when I started building my trailer. That's when that came in. Because then I'd be able to go shopping, get a lot more stuff, and stuff that's too heavy for me to carry. But it never really got finished. It was intentionally. It was supposed to be a flatbed with a removable box. So I could use a flatbed if I wanted to carry anything that was long, and I could put a box on it that was locked. I already bought the lock for it. That way I could shop at more than one store and not worry about anything getting taken out of it before, while I was inside. And it would be waterproof, and I had all these plans for it. That part of it never got finished. As after a while, my body started rebelling against riding a bike. The biggest reason for having the bike is it gave me a way to get out to the conservation area, because now that's out of reach for me. That was the hardest part, I think, for me. I couldn't get out there. So it got to the point where I couldn't do much anymore, and I started borrowing my roommate's scooter. So much for no transport trucks going by. It was just the tractor, but even still, don't normally see those on Sundays. So I started borrowing her scooter, and that's when I discovered when you're driving a scooter, you're so vulnerable. That's the first thing I noticed. It feels so vulnerable. It's so slow. It's like if somebody doesn't see you and they're coming at you, you can't jump out of the way. It's kind of frightening right at the start. like, wow, I don't like this. But it got to the point where I was borrowing it more and more. Oh, here comes a nice breeze. See if I get any wind noise here. So I decided, rather than wearing hers down on her, I'm just going to get my own. So I started looking into it. ODSP will pay towards them. They won't buy them outright for you. You have to have an occupational therapist state that you need one. So I started going through the process, and wow, that was crazy. It actually got pretty strong and it lasted a while. So I was sitting here, I'm looking out, there's a beehive above me here. Not really directly above me, but I've seen it before. Now that the wind's here, it's kind of keeping an eye on it. I don't see any bees buzzing around it anymore. I don't know if they're still in there or not. But it's not directly above me. If it falls, it'll fall probably about 6 or 8 feet out to the side there. I was looking at it earlier in the year, and there are bees all around it. I don't see any right now. There's nothing flying around it. I don't know how much they weigh, but it's on a dead branch. The branch comes out, and then it's got another part that comes off the side, and then another one off to the side of that, and that's the one it's hanging from. And it's far out, so there's like a lot of downward leverage on it. I suspect once our November gales start up, I have a feeling it's going to come down. Simply because it's on a dead branch. But anyway, now that the wind has stopped, the way it works is the occupational therapist comes into the house, gets all your information, and determines whether you use a scooter or not, or need a scooter. If it's a yes, ODSP will pay half, and I'm not sure whatever organization the occupational therapist is with, they pay the other half. Problem with that is people have abused the system. They got a really expensive scooter, and then they got it paid for, and then they'd sell it, get a cheaper scooter, and keep the extra money. So they limit what you can, a certain amount now. So always somebody messing things up for everyone. Because these things aren't cheap, right? It's hard to get a cheap one on your own payments. So the issue I had was the occupational therapist told me that they buy scooters for indoor use. They won't pay for them for transportation. Why would you need a scooter in the house? That made no sense. And because we have steps in the house, we can't even get the scooter into the house, right? So that makes no sense to me. Why would you need a scooter in the house? But either way, that wasn't going to work out. So I called up, I believe it was the place Michelle got her scooter from. At that time it was Medicare, and I asked them about it, and they said they rent them. So I decided, okay, I can't buy one, I might as well rent one right now, right? Because then I'm paying monthly on it. So they brought one to the house. The guy asked them, what it is. Do I have choices or anything? And they say whatever they've got on their showroom floor. So, okay. So they come by and they delivered the ES950. And it's got the price tag hanging off it. It was on sale. The regular price was 4,000 something, and the sale price was, I think it was like 2,600 or 2,900, something like that. So I drove it for 7 months, I believe it was, and obviously I was going to keep it because I was needing it more and more. So I got talking to them, and they do finance it themselves. The best part about it is they only charge 1% interest, and there's no tax on medical devices, so I don't have to worry about tax. The only stipulation is it had to be paid for within a year. So you only got a year to pay it off. It's financed for a year, which is kind of rough, but okay. So they were going to charge me the regular price, the 4,000 or whatever. Well, I told them, I says, it's got the sale price on it, and they confirmed that it was on sale at that time. So I got it for the cheaper price. Plus, because I rented it for so long, they took a few months of rent off of the total cost. So I don't remember what the actual purchase price was, but it was a lot lower than the $4,000, so that was nice. And then, within the year, I owned it. And that's when I started putting lights and stuff on. I put light bar on the seat, because now that I own it, I can drill into it and not, cause a problem. And that's how that started. So the worst part was, I didn't just suddenly get sick. I wasn't born sick. I didn't just suddenly lose everything. It was a gradual process. And I had a really, really hard time with depression, because being able-bodied, I was able to do pretty much anything. And gradually, as I was losing my abilities to do stuff. And that really, really plays on the mind. It got to the point where I couldn't squat down to tie my shoelaces because I couldn't get back up again. So you take that for granted. You put your shoes on, you tie them up, and you get ready to go. For me, that's a task. That's a really difficult task. So anytime I get new shoes now, I try to get shoes with elastic laces on them. So I just gotta bend down, pull the shoe up over the top so I can get my heel in, and it's done. I'm not squatting down to tie them. This pair of shoes, it's got regular laces. I do have elastic laces. They're expensive to buy, by the way. They're like $8 for a set of two. I just haven't put them in yet. You gotta find ways of getting around getting around stuff. Find alternate ways to do things, and that's my solution for that. Elastic laces, so I don't have to squat down. But I can't remember. That's another reason I don't like winter anymore, because in the summertime, put on a pair of shorts, slip on my sandals, I'm ready to go. Grab a shirt if I'm going shopping, I'm ready to go. In the wintertime, I have my socks on. I put my pants over top of my pajamas, like my snow pants over top of my pajamas. Got my shirt, a sweater, my big heavy winter coat. By the time I'm ready to go out, I'm already exhausted. I'm starting to sweat already. So when I come out, when you're sweating, you tend to shiver more, and shivering is very painful for me. So it got crazy, and it just gets worse and worse every year. So, I just want to make sure I get the timeline right on everything. So I got the S950 and driving, sort of kind of enjoying life. One of the things I noticed when you're driving a scooter is life slows down. You're driving down the road, you're passing everything at whatever speed you're going. Get your radio on, whatever, you get the noise from the car, got passengers with you, you're talking, whatever. When you're driving a scooter, you see everything. You hear everything. You smell everything. You hear wildlife. You see wildlife. You don't get that when you're driving a car. It's, I guess you could say that's an advantage to driving a scooter. Life slows down. And you hear more, you see more. It's kind of enjoyable. And sitting here, I can't sit here in this natural area and enjoy the peace in a car. Okay? It's nice here. It's a quiet place. Sometimes somebody will come up here, there'll be someone fishing, someone launching a canoe or something, or someone bringing their dogs down here to go for a swim. But for the most part, I don't see anybody here. I just get the noisy traffic. And I love it here. Two main places that I stop when I do my tour. I stop down at the dam and I stop here. This is my favorite spot. Now the dam, it's okay, but it's noisy. There's generally a lot more people down there. There's people fishing, there's kids swimming or whatever, making all kinds of noise, right? Here, it's just peace. And it's just me. I love nature. I miss it. I miss the conservation areas so much.